Hello! Just realized my hair is all funky. Stego303, thanks for following. Everybody, hello, welcome. Oh man, did I clean my lens? Let me grab that. Grab that real quick. Hi everyone. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Everything on my side says you should be able to, but just let me know. Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know. Almatic 93. This one's going to be recorded today, so don't worry. It will be recorded. All right. P866 processor. Hello, how are you? Thanks for being here. It's a name I haven't seen before. Are you new? Troubled Gamer, welcome back. That name sounds a little familiar. E.T. Fargo, your name looks familiar. Man, I cannot wait to meet you all one day at some con or event or something where we can all shake hands without masks on. We can say hi and maybe grab a beverage, alcoholic or non, totally fine. I am just looking forward today to get to meet you all. Scissorade Guru. Hey, you saw me on IT Pro? Very nice to meet you. All right, Console Cowboy Bebop, hello. It's good to see you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for chatting in the chat. It helps to know that there's people there. But, feel free to spectate. Feel free to spectate all you want to. You do not need a Twitch account. You can just watch. I hear some people watch this on a television. And I'm like, oh, like I'm on TV. Oh, Mom, I'm on TV. All right, so let's get started. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. Paul and Muncher, welcome back. So I don't know if we have anyone that we need to ring the bell for. If you are someone who has gotten a job recently and you're back here to let us know about it, let me know. If not, totally fine too. Last week we rang the bell 5 times, and that was the first time that's ever happened. Normally we ring the bell maybe once every 2 weeks, and then some people have contacted me since then and said that they've landed new jobs too, so we're up to 50 viewers that have gotten new jobs, and not because of anything I did. It may be of things I said, but it's not anything I did, and the reason why there's a difference is because I say things, right? I say things. It's up to you to apply it. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. It's up to you to do the interviews. It's up to you to create your resume. It's up to you to do all the things. It's up to you. I taught film school for 9 years, and whenever I taught at film school, I was like the last class. So imagine you've already gone through the entire film program. You get to Jason's class at the end, and me and some other fellow instructors, we taught that class. And I would say to my students, I know that you, the students sitting in my class, all heard the same things over the last 2 years as all the students who were in my class last month. And the same as the students in the class the month before that, and the same as the students the month before that, and the same as the students that will come next month, the next month, the next month. We had a per month curriculum. And so I said, hi, you're all hearing these words. If you're all hearing and having the exact same experience, then what's the difference? What's the difference for the people who go on and end up in the film industry and for the people who did not? And I know that's not like it's a binary like 1 and 0 type thing, but it really came down to the students were the X factor. You're the X factor. I say the same things to all of you. There's 29 of you right now on computers all over the world, and you're all hearing the same things. And it is really, you're the X factor in this whole situation. So I'm going to cover some things today. Hopefully it's helpful. If anyone has questions, you can ask questions at any time. If you're new, let me know you're new in the Twitch chat. Today is part 2 of a 5-part series. So I'm doing a 5-part series because I've had people ask me, like, why don't you record these? And it's normally because we're all sitting here looking at this Twitter feed right now. Let me just scoot over here to LinkedIn and then get rid of my messages that I've just recorded and leaked some private information potentially. That's one of the reasons that I don't record these normally, is because we do get into the weeds in open source intelligence gathering. We do get into the weeds in reconnaissance on companies. We do get really into it doing reviews for you. And so there's some times where it doesn't make sense to record it, but I've decided I'm going to do 5 weeks of recording. And apparently I'm catching all the Tuesday night episodes too. So I just did one on LinkedIn profile review. And so if you want to go check that one out, it's still here on the live stream. When these videos fade away here on Twitch, then I'll put them on a YouTube channel where you can check them out there, because they do fade away, because I'm not like a Twitch celebrity or anything where I get to keep my my recordings around longer. Stego3 says that I'm new here, first time watching, currently looking for a job interview. Cool. Hopefully this helps. Yeah, Tuesday night we did a 45-minute live stream. I got invited to speak at a university to their students about job hunting, and they were healthcare, like future, I think they were future healthcare administrative workers, and so I did the live stream for them. This live stream does work for any industry, any job, any career, anything. It's the same tactics. So I would use this for marketing, for manufacturing, for business, for management, for information security, anything. Like it works. Does it work 100% of the time? No. Like, what does that? If anyone's selling you something that works 100% of the time, run far away, run as fast as you can. But this stuff works. It says at T Fargo, yes, we definitely need to check out the LinkedIn one. I already mentioned that. Yeah, I have the live chat up at all times so I can see it. I also know there's a delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing, and that's totally okay because I'm used to it. Marcel Shurko 2009, thanks for following. Appreciate it. All right, let's get started. So there is audience participation, right? I'm going to need your help because I want to make sure I tailor this towards you, because I'm going to talk about creating tailored resumes. And what we're looking at right now is what I call document as you go. And so it's a spreadsheet that I keep that helps me just keep an eye on where we've hunted before. But also I teach about how you, in step 5, let me tell you the 5 steps, because we're on step 2 and you're like, well, what's step 2? So the 5 steps are, the first step is to find a job that you want to apply for. And you're like, duh. But no, like it was part 1's episode. So if you want to go back and watch that one, you can. So part 1 is just a real deep dive into choosing where you want to work. Not just like driving around and seeing like what help wanted signs there are. Not just doing a search on Monster and seeing what's there. It is literally deciding where you want to work. And on the job hunt we did last week, these were the companies that people wanted to work at. And what I talked about last week, just to do a real quick recap, is that once you make your list of where you want to work, once you make the list of where you want to work, you put that in order of importance, of like where you actually want to work. And so if Tesla is first, it's at the top of your list. If Black Hills is next, it's second. IBM, like it's your priority. It's your list. And we had Taco Bell on the list. And so last week I asked everyone, where do you not want to work at? And the consensus from the group, all the people watching, was Taco Bell. And so I believe this was like a corporate job, not actually like making tacos in a Taco Bell. But all these things could still apply if you wanted to make tacos at a Taco Bell. But we talked about getting corporate jobs at Taco Bell, which is actually Yum Brands. And we did. We tracked down the job. We tracked down the company. We tracked down their LinkedIn information. This is the job itself. So if you look up there, we found an internal advocate, which is part 4, and that person, and we could send a message to that person. Like we went through all the steps. So the 5 steps are: find a job that you want to do. Step number 2 is create a tailored resume. That's what we're going to talk about today, creating a tailored resume based on the job description. Step number 3 is to apply at the company's website. Like once you've created that tailored resume, then take that tailored resume to the company's website and apply through the company's website. And we're going to talk about that a lot next week. We're going to just get into, I want to say nitty gritty of what corporate reconnaissance looks like, or business reconnaissance, where you find out everything you can about that company so that way you're more knowledgeable during the interview process, but you're also more knowledgeable in the job hunt process. And then step 4 is to find an internal advocate at that organization, like to actually make contact with someone there where you can introduce yourself as a human being applying for a job at that company. And at that point, it's now human and human talking to each other instead of bots and stuff like all that. Is this live like right now? Just because it's live, absolutely, right now. So number 5 is, the 5th one is to manage your follow-ups. And so all this is how organized are you in the job hunt process? Like if you contacted somebody on what date, what did you send them, what message was it, what job was it? Because I think some job hunters, and I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not saying like me, myself, when you start job hunting, like you job hunt and you don't have anything to show for it because you don't have a new job. And so there's some disappointment that comes from, I've been job hunting for 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 minutes, whatever the case is. I've been job hunting, but I don't have a new job. So what have I been doing? If you never heard this before, whenever I've been unemployed, I treat unemployment like it's my job. And my job is to find a new job. And so I wake up and get dressed and go to work, and my job is to hunt for jobs. And so a part of that is the organizational skills, essentially project managing your own job hunt. And so some of you, if you are a project manager or you have experience with project management and you haven't thought about project managing your job hunt, do that. And so some of the things we'll talk about today is like, how can I take the skills and the abilities I have right now as a human being? How can I take the skills that I used in work and how can I apply them to the job hunt process? So my name is Jason Blanchard. Thanks for being here. If I hadn't introduced myself yet, thank you so much. I do these live job hunts twice a week. It's every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time and on Fridays from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. This is live right now. I'm sitting in my chair, like just the thought of this being recorded, but you watching it, and actually, wait, if you're watching the recording, it's not live right now. So this is like a really meta, weird, okay, I gotta wrap my brain around that. Will this series be recorded by chance? Absolutely, I do, just because I'm recording them for just this series. And then we'll go back to not recording them because we're gonna get back to job hunting on a regular basis. And then I'll just point people to these videos if there's like, what about this? Well, I'll go watch video number 2, or what about this? Watch video number 3. I'll answer the questions, but then like if you really want to know more, then go watch video 1 or watch video 2. Why do I do this? Because I can. I was just thinking about, while I was doing dishes, getting ready for this live stream, that I don't get accepted to marketing conferences. Like when I submit a CFP to speak at marketing conferences, I do not get accepted. And that's fine. But then I started thinking, I was like, I could just run my own live stream and doing marketing talks like once a week. I could do whatever I want. So essentially that's what this live stream is. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to wait for someone else to give me a platform. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, Twitch, for giving me a platform to talk, but I can say whatever I want, do whatever I want. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just helping. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not selling anything. There's no book. There's no like for $9.99. There's nothing. I just do this twice a week because I enjoy it. And the thing that makes me the happiest is when someone comes back and says, Jason, I landed a new job. And it's not because it's for me. Like I do get the warm and fuzzy feelings that any teacher has, but I'm happy for you. I'm so like legitimately, genuinely happy for you that you landed that new job, that you're on a new quest, that the thing that you wanted to do worked out for you, because that brings me joy. All right. Just because it says thank you, I can relax now. I can get back to the John Strand. Nice. Absolutely. You defy the old standards. You're just ahead of your time. That's true, Sakura Carl. That's why I don't get accepted. So here we go. Let's get into it. So audience participation today. I need your help just throughout whatever job title it is you're looking for. So you, whoever you are, just throw out a job title that you're looking for. And it doesn't matter what, like, it's your job title. Like, just throw them all out into the Twitch chat, and I'm going to compile them because I'm going to start building tailored resumes for some of those job titles. I just need something to get started. So we got blue team operator, junior software developer, junior software dev, junior sysadmin. I like that you're all saying junior too, because that is legit. Information security engineer, Infosec engineer. Getting started, Infosec, Heyo 07. I'm not sure what that is, corporate gaming. Internal forensics and incident response. Internal forensics, incident response. Cloud engineer. Physical red teamer. Nice. Security architect. I cannot spell architect on my own to save my life. Oh, 07 is like a wave salute. Thank you, corporate gaming. I appreciate you. Product engineer. And any others? Any others that I missed? SOC analyst. SOC analyst. Incident responder. Yeah. Let me see if there's any others I might have missed. Just looking through the Twitch. Security analyst. Sure, we'll just put that there. Security GRC manager. I would have to look up what does GRC stand for. If you could help me with that. A network security engineer. All right. A governance, regulation, compliance. That is super helpful. Governance, regs, compliance. A risk. Okay. Risk. Also, if I spelled things wrong, that's fine. It's not going to hinder what we're about to cover. Okay. All right. Cool. Look at all these jobs. I did see that we don't have any like marketing people here. As far as I know, maybe you're spectating. I don't see any healthcare workers here. You may be spectating. I don't see any other jobs. So most of these are computer security related, and that's fine. Because my sphere of influence in the world is generally computer security related. I came from the comic book and film world, but I really like the comic book industry way better. And it's just better. It's just better. All right, so let's get started. So we got all these jobs over here, and what we're going to do next is we're going to essentially reverse engineer job descriptions to create tailored resumes. And so if I was to go over here, and we're just going to do a search for junior software developer. Junior software developer. And this is the part where you can all play along now. So you can watch what I'm doing. You can also have your own screen up. You can have your own LinkedIn up. You can have your own Word document up. You can have all your own stuff up. I would say pay attention, but spend this time doing your own thing. And if you're watching the recording right now, then spend your time doing your own thing. So that is a big block of info. Before we get to the Q&As, what advice will you give to someone who has a very large infrastructure? I built a functional SOC from scratch, and I knocked 2 with 25 physical PCs on a segmented network. I even purchased a Palo Alto firewall. I've been equipping myself a lot, but still looking for a job. Everyone keeps telling me to start at an MSP, which is a managed service provider business, but I'm confused because I don't have a job yet. I'm at a crossroads. P866 processor. I don't know how to answer that yet, but I think I'll answer it during the live stream. So if you can stick with me, I think it will be answered. So stick with me. Okay. I'm not MSP, managed service provider. MSSP is a managed security service provider. Where are you posting the recordings? The recordings are posted right here on Twitch. So if you take a look at some, like, I think there's a button for recordings, you can watch the previous sessions. And then I will put them on a YouTube channel at some point in the next couple weeks. So they'll be there then. Alrighty, so we're getting started. So I know we're 20 minutes in, and I mean, you could always fast forward all the way to the 20 minutes if you're watching the recording. But what we got right now is we're gonna do a job hunt for a junior software developer. But then we're also going to do a job hunt for like a junior sysadmin. We'll do a job hunt for an Infosec engineer, like cloud engineer. We're going to do a job hunt for some of them, just so I can show you that this is a repeatable process. But we're going to get started. So here we go. So I typed in junior software developer in LinkedIn, and then I'm going to click on jobs. And right now, I'm not specifically looking for a job. We're going to do something first called creating an internal, just for you, just for me. Now, yours isn't for me, mine's for me, yours is for you, and then yours is for you, and yours is for you. And then my wife just got home with groceries, and she's gonna put them away. So if you hear groceries and like bags rattling and stuff like that, that's what that is. All right, so we're gonna do a job hunt right now, and while we're doing a job hunt, we're not actually looking for the job that we want. And so that's kind of weird. Like if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you're like, so Jason, you want me to do a job hunt for the job, but not actually look for a job. That is correct. I want you to type in LinkedIn, whatever title it is that you want. So we had a bunch over here. So like I could click cloud engineer and go back over here and just replace it with cloud engineer. And so it's going to bring up all the different jobs that have cloud and engineer in the title. So right now it's 86,176. Gosh, that is a lot of jobs. So if I went back over here and I typed in incident responder and then came back over here and typed this in, I would then find 497 jobs that say incident responder. Does that all make sense? Feel free to say yes, feel free to say no. We're doing a job hunt for a title, but we're not looking for a job, because I'm going to show you the next step. We're going to go through a series of steps here that will hopefully help you build this new resume of yours, this new ability to apply for jobs that are with a tailored resume that you can create whatever you want to create on the drop of a hat. So here we go. And if you're like, I hope you get to the good stuff. I'm getting there. All right, so let's go back over here to this junior software developer, because that's where we started. So junior software developer. And we have 39,204 jobs that have the words junior software developer in it in the United States. So that's the next column right there. So the United States is the next column. So if you're in another country, so if you're in Malaysia, wow, I cannot spell Malay. If you're in Malaysia, then it would show you the 411 results for Malaysia. So just you can choose the country you live in, because there may be some cultural norms that might be different, but you don't need to. I mean, you could just type in worldwide. Whenever I show people that they have worldwide, they're like, wait, you can search for every job in the world? You can. And then you can click over here to all filters, and you click on remote. And it will show you every single junior software developer job that's remote in the whole world. And you're like, damn it! I wish I would have known that like 7 months ago. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We're all learning. We're all figuring stuff out. So I go back over here to the United States, because that's where I live. And I will now show me the 39,207 results. Now, when it's time for you to job hunt, you're going to filter this down to like jobs posted in the last week. That's just because these companies understand the world that we live in, the economic world, the pandemic world, the business situational world that we live in. Really, kitty? Oh, are you hunting? You hunting mice? Sounds like he's hunting mice. Yeah, that's a mouse hunting like noise. Does it matter which site we use to do this, or would any of them work? LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed? Corporate Gaming just asked that question. The answer is it does not matter. The reason why I like LinkedIn is because all the information I need, including the people and everything else, is just in one place. So I choose LinkedIn, but it doesn't matter. And the other reason why it doesn't matter to me is because I don't encourage you to apply at LinkedIn or at Glassdoor or at Monster or at Indeed. I don't encourage you to apply at those websites. I encourage you to go to the company's website and apply at the company's website for the exact same position. So Jay Rashad, happy Friday to you too. All right, and if anyone has any questions, just like Corporate Gaming or anyone else, feel free to ask at any time. And so here we go. So I asked you to do a job hunt for a specific job title. I'm removing all of the filters and stuff, and this is just now 39,207 results. Okay, so that's a lot of just building up to what we're about to do next. Really? That is very vocal. He's a Bengal cat. Bengal cats are very, very, very vocal, and it's okay. And they like to be warm too. So it might be, I shut off the fireplace because it was getting hot in here for me, but the cat's like, what is wrong with you? It's freezing in here. All right, everybody, next step. So once you've done just a search for your own job title, hopefully you're following along, either watching the recording or here live, and you just like, all right, there's 39,000 results. And so we go, I'm just going to click on just one at random. I am clicking on one at random. Doesn't matter which one I click on. Me, thanks for following. All right, so when I get here, I'm going to see a bunch of stuff. So we're going to see, like, once again, I am not. I'm not applying for this job. I'm just looking at job descriptions because I'm going to use those job descriptions to build my own personal resume. All right, it says here, we are looking for a developer to rapidly build and deploy features to support highly dynamic organizations. As a junior developer, you will work closely with an agile team to build software applications as well as to work alongside other developers to ensure we are providing the best software solution to our clients. Okay, what's really nice is that they tell you what they're looking for. Like generally a job description is like, here's what we're looking for. Let me skip back up to a part that I skipped. The developer role requires high attention to detail, initiative, organizational skills, and a desire to work in a fast-paced, innovative growth environment. What job doesn't say this? Like, I'm sorry, but I do this all the time. This is just it's almost like they copy and paste it from each other. Not only does the position require and afford a high degree of independence, ugh, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but you will also work with an amazing group of fun and talented people. Cool. And then just heading back up here. They're going to tell you about themselves. So may be helpful, may not be helpful. It says Bytelion is a high-end software development firm focused on building modern software applications for innovators in the startups and corporate world. We build software and teams. Okay, cool. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to take this information here and I'm going to start building an about me. So let's go over here to a blank sheet of paper. We're going to have a blank sheet of paper. And on this blank sheet of paper, I'm going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself. I would like you to tell me why I should hire you. So just right now, real quick, in 5 sentences, everyone just put it in the Twitch chat. Tell me why I should hire you for whatever position you want to be hired for. Okay, just go. I'll wait for all of you to get done. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the reason why I don't want you to do that, because it's terrible. It's terrible advice. Because for you to sit there and go like, wait, you want me to talk about myself? You want me to write about like all the things I know how to do? You want me to like explain why I should get hired for the job? Like, Jason, that's going to take me a lot longer than this whole live stream is. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So here, let me show you a better way to do it. Okay, so if you were trying to get a job as a junior software developer, and it says the developer role requires high attention to detail, initiative, and organizational skills, then you just take that and you copy it and go over to this blank document, and you take a look at it. You pull it, you drop it in here, and then you look at it. You're like, okay, I'm sorry you fell for that ninja toast. Like you were starting to write out like all the things that made you, hey, Strotsky, what's up? I don't know if I spelled that right. Strowski. And the developer role requires a high attention to detail, initiative and organizational skills, and a desire to work in a fast-paced, innovative growth environment. All right, let's break this down per sentence. Okay, so the developer role. So let's do this. As a junior software developer, I maintain a high attention to detail, initiative, and organization skills. And I am looking to work. Wow. All right, so as a junior software developer, I maintain a high attention to detail, initiative, and organizational skills. And I am looking to work in a fast-paced, innovative growth environment. I know, the cat. Damn cat.
I'll feed him in a minute.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so does everyone see what I just did? And it's a simple thing, but it's something I want you to... I know. Me too, average homeboy. Me too. He is mouthy. So did you see what I just did, though? So I took what a company is looking for, so the developer role, and then we'll take this one over here, too. And we'll add this down here. We're looking for a developer to rapidly build and support. Let's break it down per sentence. All right. And we can take what a company is looking for. And so not only does the position require a forward, so here, how about this? Although I enjoy working with a high degree of independence, I also thrive working with an amazing group of talented people. Although I enjoy working within a high degree of independence, I also thrive with an amazing group of fun and talented people. Let me know if this makes sense to you, because I'm showing you like the actual, like we're going through and we're doing it slowly. Normally I would kind of race through some of these parts. I would say just do this, and then I wouldn't cover it in that much detail. But today I wanted to take the whole 2 hours and just really show you how to reverse engineer a job description to help you build your own personal resume and how you talk about yourself. Says we are looking for a developer to rapidly build and deploy features to support highly dynamic organizations. In my past working experience, I've gotten to rapidly build and deploy features to support highly dynamic organizations. Is the idea behind this to get past ATS bots? So I don't really care. Thank you, the cognitive dissonance. So Stego 303 says the idea behind this to get past the ATS bots. Now I'm not 100% sure what ATS stands for, but if we go through all 5 steps, so find the job that you're looking for and apply at the company. Step 2 is build a tailored resume. Step 3 is to apply at the company's website. Step 4 is to find an internal advocate at that organization. And step 5 is to applicant tracking system. And step 5 is to manage your follow-ups. If you do all those things, then it doesn't really matter as much for the applicant tracking system. All right, so here's what I just did. And then AT Fargo says cognitive dissonance is flaring, thinking that they will recognize the information as taken from their site. Aha. Yes, and ET Fargo, that's why I'm saying just do this for jobs you're not applying for. So this is not a job I'm applying for. This is just a job that I'm using to learn from, to start using this information, because this is just me getting started. If I was to look at all the other job descriptions there are, then I might make this better. But my first draft at this of doing my about me section. So if this was my about me, and I was going to do this and copy this and then make this a little bit bigger and then slap that right here in the middle. And if I wanted to say who I am, I would say as a junior software developer, and let's go through. As a junior software developer, I maintain a high attention to detail, initiative, and organizational skills. And I am, let's take out the and. I am looking to work in a fast-paced, innovative growth environment. Also, these people don't like the Oxford comma, and it's bothering me, and that's fine. Some of you aren't Oxford comma fan, but I am. I am looking to work in a fast-paced, innovative growth environment. Although I enjoy working within a high degree of independence, I also thrive with an amazing group of fun and talented people. In my past working experience, I've gotten to rapidly build and deploy features to support highly dynamic organizations. As a junior developer, you will work. I need to add this. As a junior developer, I have learned to work well with an agile team to build software applications, as well as working alongside other developers to ensure we are providing the best. Okay, cool. Yeah. In my past career with called the I love me statement. Yeah. In my past career, this is called the I love me statement. Yes. All right. So does this make sense? I will keep asking this question. If I was to ask you to write about yourself and in 5 sentences explain why you're the best person to hire for any position as a junior software developer, would it be easier to sit down to a blank sheet of paper? Let's do that. Would it be easier to sit down at this blank sheet of paper and try to come up with what you want to say about yourself? Or do you feel like it would be easier to find the words that companies are looking for to find a junior software developer and then pull parts of that out to then things that reflect and are true about you to then write your own about me section like this? What would you prefer? This or this? Using this. All right, so moving on to the next part. So if I was to go to this junior software developer here, this one's going to say things like this position will support a mission management tool called Miniature Mission Processor. Okay, Miniature ingest data from various, you're like, cool. Junior software with at least 5 years of experience in C++ and Java, responsible for implementing software. All right, junior developers will work closely. So what you're going to start seeing is very common like things here, like junior developer will work closely with the software development team within a large mature code base. So you're going to see things that are over and over again, like well-defined scheduled deliverables. Let's go to this one. This one is, wow, that is sparse, and that's okay. Looking for junior to mid-level software developer to work on Java-based applicants. Okay. Next one. Our client is looking for an eager and inquisitive self-starter to join the engineering team as a junior software developer. In this role, you will support the development, implementation, and management of our client's technology solutions. You will be coding, testing, implementing configuration changes, and assisting in delivery of software. All right. So if I go back here, I was like, you will be coding. Like, I like this one. I like this one right here. So let me go back over here, and I could potentially work this in. You will be coding, testing, and implementing configuration changes. And this, my specialties include, here we go. This is how I want to say it. So I'm going to go here. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to remove that. So this is what I would do with this. My specialties include coding, testing, implementation, configuration. Now, if this isn't true about you, then don't make this true about you. They really don't want inquisitive to do not ask the interview about their sex life. Yeah. So my specialties include coding, testing, implementing configurations, and that's what I would do here. So as you go through from job post to job post to job post to job post to job post, you may find better ways to say it, and you may have version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. So you may have like 5 or 6 of these about me sections ready to go that you just write, and you, instead of like rewriting this one, say copy, and then go down here, and then paste that one, and then edit this one. So now you have this one over here, like your first draft that you could always pull from. So I'm just gonna remove it. Like, this was my first draft. And then I could go in here and make adjustments and changes to this. And then this would be draft 2 or second choice. And so when I'm applying for a job and I come across something like this, I'm like, for this one, let's see, for this one, if I read that, which one would be the best one to use? Like, I think I'll go with version A. I'll use version A when I build the tailored resume for this one. Okay, so next step. That is how you can use the job descriptions and what they say they're looking for. Wow, this one, they just full on copied and pasted that sucker out of some database that kept no coding whatsoever. All right, but if we go over here, we're gonna move into the next phase. Before I move into the next phase, does anyone have any questions before I move into the next part? And if you're currently doing this for yourself, are you starting to see some opportunities where you can take what you find and use it for your own needs? All right. Next step. So next step is to harvest these parts. Because this is a true statement about human beings. It is easier to find something that describes who we are than it is for us to describe who we are. It is easier for us to find something that describes who we are than it is for us to describe who we are, which is what we've already started doing. But the other part of that is this, is you got this about me section. And corporate gaming says the hardest part for me is always the about me section. This way of doing it definitely going to help, very helpful. All right, so humans tend to fall in 1 or 2 categories when it comes time to writing a resume. And so if you were sitting over here and you're one type of human, you're going to look at your resume that someone has asked you to write, because you're unemployed or you're getting ready to transition from one job to another, or you're furloughed, or your company dissolved, or you're getting ready to graduate, or whatever. And you're sitting here, and one type of human goes, what is the really, really cool thing I did where I worked? Because you're like, wow, what was the cool thing? What was the thing that people gave me credit for? What was the thing that I got an award for? What was the thing? What was like my biggest accomplishment? And so you sit here and you're like, co-creator of backdoors and breaches. Like if I was going to talk about mine, I'd be like, co-creator of backdoors and breaches, like that is the one extreme. Like what is the coolest thing I could possibly come up with that I did? The other one would be like produced 374 online virtual events. Like that's all right, that's the next big one. Okay, so it's like I co-created backdoors and breaches, and then I produced 374 online virtual events. And then you're like, all right, done. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that anytime you can talk about a quantitative metric, quantitative meaning so there's an actual number that goes along with it, like I managed 1,000 IP addresses, I oversaw 273 endpoints, I had 1,000 employees, I managed 12 people. Anytime you can talk about that. Is this for the cover letters or strictly the resume? So Veggie Malware, this is strictly resume, but you can always incorporate it into the cover letters. But I hate cover letters. Like I see no use for them. That's me personally. I see no use for them. If somebody asks you for a cover letter, then write one. But for me personally, it's like, ugh, gross. It's 2021. I don't think cover letters are that important any longer. That's just me, 100% me. All right, so there's two kinds of people. There's the one kind of person that says, what's the biggest thing I did? What's the thing that was... And then the other kind of person, you may fall into this one where you're like, I didn't do anything that was cool. Nothing I did was cool. I didn't do anything cool. I didn't do anything cool at all. I didn't do anything cool. Like you sit there and you're like, I went to work every day on time. Like you just like there was nothing cool. I just did my job. And you can't even imagine what you would put down there. You're like, I just did, my title is junior. Like you go, you know what? My title is junior software developer. And I did my job as a junior software developer, whatever that is. That's what I did. So I don't know where you fall. Let me know if you're the A column kind of person. So we'll call this one A column. And then there's the B column who doesn't think anything that you do is that great or that wonderful, and everything else is just mundane. You just did your job. So let me know if you fall into the A column or the B column of people when it comes to building out a resume. So far, Veggie Malware is B. E.T. Fargo is a B. Eartoit is a B. A lot of B's. Trouble Gamers is an A. TVAS, like try for A. Edna B. Edna J is a B. All right, so a lot of us fall into the B category. We fall into the B category because we're like, I just did my job. And then those of us in the A category like, must have been something great I did. And then here's the problem with building an actual resume where you try to use a template. So when you try to use a template, it's almost like they create templates for the purposes of either coming up with the most crazy thing, the biggest thing you could possibly think of that you did, or nothing. Like, here's what you got. You got 3. This is a basic template, and they go, here's your 3 bullets. So come up with the 3 greatest things that you did. And you're like, crap. And then what if you did like 14 really good things, but they weren't great. It's just you doing your job. And then you're like, well, there's no room for it. I mean, can I go to another bullet point? Like, can I do another one? But when you do another one, like, wait a second, I'm on 2 pages. I'm on 2 pages now, and they always say to do a 1-page resume. Damn it. Well, if I put more bullet points there, then I have to take a bullet point away from here, but maybe that job was important, but I've only worked 2 jobs, so cool, I can get rid of that one, so now I can have some extra bullet points here. But education, they have this, and so all this stuff sucks. So here's what I recommend. All of that was to build up to this. I was trying to create like this environment where you're like, is there a better way? Jason, is there a better way? Yes, I hope there is. I think this is a better way. So let's see if it is. So what we got over here is this is a junior software developer job. We already talked about this where it's going to help us write our About Me section, but now it's going to help us figure out who we are. So we go down here into the responsibilities, and if you're doing this for yourself, if you're playing along at home, if you've typed in what your job title is, if you got whatever country it is in here, if you got a couple thousand results and you click on one of them, there's going to be bullet points. And so what I recommend that you do is you spend a solid 2 hours just harvesting every bullet point you can find about yourself. You just harvest each and every one that you can find. And let me show you what this looks like while you're doing it in action. So I'm going to go over here and create a new document. I'm going to go over here and it's got junior software developer. And it says design, build, and maintain efficient, reusable, and reliable code. And you're like, true. And we just go over here to this blank document and you're going to type in junior software developer. Because you want to remember what the bullet point's for. That's why you put it there. This is yours. This is your internal document. This is not something you're going to be sending to people. This is not something that you're going to post on the internet. This is for you and for you only. We're building blocks right here. We're putting Legos together. I like how John Strand always says, you know, you take a bunch of Legos and then you put them together and to build something. Like these are all Legos of what we're doing to build the thing that we're going to get to. And that is your tailored resume. It says TVAS says, FYI, I have already harvested a phrase infinite learner from your shows incorporated into my resume and interview vocabulary. That's very cool, TVAS. And for those of you that have been here before, a lot of this is refreshed, but for the most part, I've never gone into this much detail before. And so if you've been here before and you're back again, hopefully you're just using this time, this 2 hours, to where you're just going through and you're like grabbing bullet points, and you're just, by the end of this 2 hours together, you're gonna like have a nice solid internal document of all your skills and abilities. So we're right here with design, build, maintain, efficient. Now I'm not doing anything to this, but whenever you bring in a bullet point like this, if it is something that you want it to always be 100% true about you, and you always want it to be in the proper tense. So if you were a junior software developer and you're not a junior software developer, like it's something that you did 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago, 6 days ago, 6 minutes ago, but you're not doing it now, then please, the one thing that you want to do is adjust all bullet points to be proper tense. So as you bring it in, it's proper tense. So you designed, built, and maintained efficient, reusable, and reliable code. So as you bring them in, you're revising and editing each and every bullet point that you bring in. Also, action verbs for resume. All right, so the 185 or 195 in Indeed or wherever you want to go, what you want to do is I'm going to drop this into the Twitch chat. And so if you're watching the recording, just figure out where I went. It's the Muse, or just Google what I just Googled. And so when you're over here, whenever you bring a bullet point in, you just make sure that it begins with an action verb. It begins with an action verb. So that is a good bullet point that you can then, I'll show you later on what you're going to do with this. Okay. So go back over here to Junior Software Developer, and it says integration of data storage solutions that may include SQL and no SQL. And you're like, got it. I knew how to do that. So you go back over here to this, and you would drop this in. Integration of data storage solutions that included both SQL and no SQL. So far, is this making sense? For those of you that just joined us, my name is Jason Blanchard. I am doing a deep dive on how to build a resume. That came out weird. How to build a resume, reverse engineering job descriptions, and then how to put all the pieces together so that way every time you apply for a job, you can build a tailored resume for that specific job. So I go back over here, it says integration of user-facing elements developed by a group of front-end developers and designers. And if you go over here and you're like, you know what? That's not a thing that I know how to do. So say you skip over that. And so you go to the next one. It says identify bottlenecks and bugs. So once again, we're switching this. So identified bottlenecks and bugs in software applications. Identified is spelled differently. Okay. So if you were using this right now to create an internal catch-all document for yourself, so I'm going to call this one Junior Software Developer. I just call them catch-all. For me, catch-all just means it's everything, and it's just something, it's slang for me. Doesn't mean anything in the industry. It's just slang. And so right now I have these 3 bullet points. Here's what happens if you do this for 2 straight hours, going from job description to job description, including even this one. Like, what happens is you start to see what jobs are looking for. So proficiency with Linux. Wow. Let's talk about that. So I'm going to talk about this next. Here's a really cool trick that you can do on your resume. All right, I'm going to talk about, and if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about this. If you're new, this is going to be new to you. If you've seen me on something else, and I've also talked about this, you've also seen it before. I'm going to cover it again because I want to show you how you incorporate it into your catch-all document and how you incorporate it into actual resumes. So there's 3 levels of knowledge. And I saw someone post the other day, they're like, no, Jason, there's 4 levels of knowledge or something. And I was like, I feel like there's 3 levels of knowledge because all the job descriptions I look at, I see words like familiarization, proficiency, things like strong, expert stuff. So I'm going to go back here and just show you, here's the 3 levels of knowledge. If you've heard this before, just drop them in the Twitch chat. If you're like, hey, I already know this, then drop them in the Twitch chat. And so the first level of knowledge is knowledge of. This one also works with familiar with. So you'll see from time to time people say knowledge of Linux or knowledge of cloud security or knowledge of this or knowledge of Kali Linux or knowledge of this. Or you'll see where it says knowledge of, or they'll say familiar with SQL or familiar with coding practices, familiar with Ruby on Rails, familiar with, you'll see familiar with. And all that means is you know what that is. You've read a book on it, you had a class on it, you took a webcast on it, you watched a series of YouTube videos on it, you picked up a manual that you're reading like about it, like you know of it, but you're not like a practitioner of it, but you know of it, you understand that it's a thing and that it exists. Okay, that is the first level of knowledge. Proficient in is the second level of knowledge. This is I've been using it on a daily basis, semi-daily basis. I've used it for 6 or 7 months. Like I'm very, not just familiar with, but I'm proficient in it. Like I can use this. I know the shortcut keys. I know the hotkeys. I know this stuff and I can use it really well. And then the third one is expert in. And expert in means I know it so well I could teach it to someone else. Not that I know it so well that I could teach it well to someone else, because teaching is completely different, but I know it so well that I could teach it to someone else if I had to. And so that's the 3 levels of knowledge. Now check this out. You'll come across things like proficiency with Linux system configuration and administration. But you also, so we're going to take this and we're going to copy it. So it's already over here and I'm looking. But I will go to another job description and let's see if we can find where it says proficient with. We're looking for people with a background in the following techniques. Yeah, we can do it here. Working knowledge of the following. So working knowledge, I would be somewhere in between like knowledge of and proficient in. So here, check this out. So you go over here and when you go back to your own description, because it's bullet pointed, right? So instead of saying my 3 levels of knowledge, so I'm just going to copy this and then paste it again. So the cat got food. The cat actually got food. When he finished, he started crying again. Like he knows no bounds. Like, all right, so if I go back over here and I copy this again, and then I go back over here, and I drop this in down here. Well, now I can start to list these where it makes sense. So if I have experience with web design, development, HTML, SQL, so what I could do is this. I'm going to remove this part. I'm going to say web design development. And I'm going to go over here and say proficient in, let's say you're proficient with web design development. Then you could drop this down into sub-bullets here as sub-bullets. Now, what if you just knew about these things? Well, if you just knew about these things, then you could drop them in here. So now they're the web design development because you have a knowledge of, familiar with, instead of being proficient with. But you're proficient in cascading style sheets. You are an expert in React.js. Can we please have synonyms of proficient and experts with which are used in job descriptions? Synonyms. Sarta, I'm not quite sure. Synonyms for the. Can we please have synonyms of proficient and experts which are used?
Synonyms are just put in Word, right click the word, and you've got synonyms.
No? Other ways to say the same thing. So other ways to say the same thing. generally start to, I see knowledge of, proficient with, or expert in. Like that's what I see. I see that in job description. So you may come across something that's similar to that, but for the most part, whenever I go to job descriptions, and if I kept going to these, I would see other, like here's one for, Apple doesn't use bullet points? Gosh. Same thing. Familiar with Git and GitHub to write pull requests. So familiarity, so here, I would go back over to my, and under knowledge of, so knowledge of or familiar with, I would drop in a new one and say GitHub and using Git to write great pull. I love how they have the word write great pull request. Like I'm just gonna remove the word great. Does this make sense what I'm doing right now, where I'm just putting things in the order of like, hey, I have a knowledge of these things, but I'm really proficient. Like this is yours. This isn't like, this is what you are proficient with. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is that we're all real harsh on ourselves. We're real harsh on ourselves when it comes to knowledge of, or familiar with, or proficient with, or expert in. And you will potentially fall into this category where you will be proficient in something, but you'll make an assumption that other people are more proficient than you are. And so you're like, well, I know it, but maybe I'm just a knowledge of or I'm familiar with. Or you're an expert in something, but your self-doubt kicks in, or your imposter syndrome kicks in, and you're like, I mean, I could teach it to someone else, and I know it really well, but maybe I'm just going to say I'm proficient in. Now, I'm not telling you to lie, but I am telling you to stop being so hard on yourself. Because if you are not going to be the advocate for yourself and your own skills and abilities, no one else is going to be. I'm not encouraging you to embellish. I'm not encouraging you to lie, but I'm also encouraging you not to be so hard on yourself to where you downgrade what your knowledge is and you downgrade your skills and your abilities. Because I don't think that works either. So that's why I have those like knowledge of, familiar with is like, I read a book on it. I know it. I've heard about it, but I've never actually done it. Proficient in is I've used it for 6 months or so. I know where the hotkeys are, the short keys. Like I use it on a daily to semi-daily basis. And expert in is that I could teach it to somebody else because I know it well enough to teach it to someone else. All right. So as you are building out your own catch-all resume, you can start listing things because you're going to see lists. They're going to have lists over here like passion for great design, both technical. Oh, passion for great design, both technical. I'm just going back. That's a good one. But does it start with a verb? Is passion a verb? Jackie, is passion a verb?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Designer with a passion for great design. No. I would just stick with passion for great design. That's a good one. All right. Passionate about great design. Yeah, you could always say passionate about great design. Both technical design and visual design. And you could always drop down here and instead of saying both technical, you could go. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect. I'm just saying you could technical design. And if you have examples of these, like you've designed something, you have technical design, you've visually designed something, then you can always drop a link right there. You could drop a link to anything you've ever created inside your resume. And so if you say passionate about great design, drop a link to it. Drop a link to it. Drop a link to it. And once again, this is in your own internal document where you keep track of all these things. All right, so far I've talked about harvesting all the bullets. So if I kept going through here, we got one, Lidos, and they have all this like, must be independent thinker capable of performing high quality work, both independently and with a team in a fast moving environment. Okay, so when you go back over here to this one and go to the next bullet point, you would say independent thinker capable of performing high quality work, both independently and with a team in a fast moving environment. I hate when ads ask for passion. No one is passionate about search engine optimization, people. True. Created technical and visual designs that delighted team members and customers alike. I like that, TVath. That's really good. All right, and corporate gaming, thanks for following. I saw you did that 37 minutes ago. Appreciate it. All right, any other questions before I move on to the next phase of this? Because I want to show you what this looks like when it's when you start to pull it all together, because it's been an hour so far, and I also want to make sure I get to any questions you might have. And I do think some of you right now are playing along. I mean, that's my hope, that you are currently job hunting your own job and you're like, oh, that one and that one and that one. Because what I started with is that we're not very good at describing ourselves, but we are good at finding something that describes us. And so every time we find something that describes us, it's easier to copy and paste that. Like I like this one that says bachelor's degree in computer science or related field. So let's talk about that one for a second. So we go over here and it says bachelor's degree in computer science or related field or discipline. Well, let's say you do have a bachelor's degree. Then you can say bachelor's degree in computer science from, and you list the school right there. Why would I go to a section and call it education and then list out my school right there? I mean, I could, but in my bullet points, I could just say I have a bachelor's degree in computer science from, and then down below, I could say major, minor, classes included, and I could just drop this in here and put all the different classes that I think would be applicable to the job that I'm applying for. And so I could say I have a minor in this and I majored in this, which, you know, the computer science degree, yeah, that's your major. But you could say what your minor was, classes included, and list this down. You could also, I mean, with a 3.4 GPA, but really no one cares. No one cares at all. So you can just say computer science degree. You could also down here potentially say under a computer science degree, because since it's talking about education, we could say interned with, and you could list where you interned. Now that would probably fall under like past work experience, but your internship was tied in with your college education. So there's a possibility where you put interned during college here. Just saw something that said don't include GPA unless 3.6 and above. I wouldn't include GPA at all. But that's just me. Jackie, you ever look at someone's GPA?
No, but mine's on there because I graduated summa cum laude.
All right, so hers is on there because she graduated summa cum laude. Like, yeah, if you got a 4.0 and you graduated with honors, I guess feel free to drop that in. Thank you, Jacqueline. I appreciate that.
I mean, it's really at that point more for us than less for you.
Yeah. Experience with behavior driven. All right, I want to get to one other part where it may not be, where you may not know what to put. So down here, must be flexible, independent, must be punctual, regular. Okay, so this one right here, if you take a look at must be punctual with regular and consistent attendance. There are some aspects to a job description that don't fall under like my skills and abilities. And those fall under like soft skills. And I'm almost to the point with the way the job market is in 2021 for you just to put the words soft skills and list your soft skills at this point. Like I'm almost there where I feel like this is just a section that you can put on your resume and just say, here are my soft skills. And it's consistently punctual with regular attendance. There we go. Consistently punctual with regular attendance. Now, does everyone see the period at the end of this? I'm just going to stop for 1 second. There's a period at the end of this. I'm going to remove it. And the only reason I'm going to remove it is because if you don't have a period on the rest of them, make sure you're consistent. So just if you're going to have a period on one of them, you now have to have a period on all of them. If you're not going to have a period on one of them, you can't have a period on any of them. So that's just the high attention to detail that you say that you have. Make sure that you have a high attention to detail. Now, I'm going to ask a question to the audience real quick while my daughter and my wife get some food to my left. They're doing the best they can to be quiet, and I appreciate that at all times. That's not me saying they're being loud. Like, they really do. They care about you all enough to where they want to make sure that you all have the best experience. So thank you. All right. So when we're here, my question to you is this. How many of you would put something like consistently punctual with regular attendance? If it was true, how many of you would even think about putting that on a resume? And I'll wait for your answer. The answer is either yes or no. And the reason I'm asking this is important. So Veggie Malware said not me. Trouble Gamer said nope. Stego said nope. This is expected. That's right. No, because that should be a given. Nope, nope. That is true. Nope. So I feel like some of you that said no to this are also the same people that fell in column B. I feel like some of you were the same people that fell into column B. And the reason is because it's a given. It's just a thing that you would put. Like, it's not something you would put because being consistent and punctual is like, yes, that is what we're looking for. But if you look at what the employer is looking for, they have things like excellent verbal and written communication skills with experience giving briefings. So let me go back over here to this junior software developer and say my soft skills are excellent verbal and written communication skills. And so I'm going to take away the verbal, the excellent, say verbal and written communication skills with experience giving briefings. Also take away the period. This is a given. It's a given. But if you're the B kind of person, then you're like, well, it's just a given. Like, they should just know that I'm punctual when I show up on time. They should just know that I'm going to be able to have written and verbal communication skills. The employer should just know. But what I want you to see is that sometimes just put it. Like, say that I have these skills. Say that I'm punctual. Say that I show up on time. Say that I'm flexible, independent, and self-motivated. Say it. And sure, it's a given. It's a given. But it's also, you could just say it. So, if you've ever been a part of this live stream before, you've heard me talk about this thing. And if you're new here, then welcome. Thanks for being here. I talk about something called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is where you have a certain belief system. You have a certain skills. Like, you just believe a certain thing because of what you've been told and what you've seen and what you've heard and what you've done your entire life. You have a certain set of beliefs. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm introducing new sets of beliefs and new knowledge and new information. And those two things do not go together well. And that's what's called cognitive dissonance, is that this new information is going against all of the information you've already heard. And if you were to put any of this into practice, like if you were to put all this stuff together, if you started harvesting these bullet points, if you started finding these soft skills and listing them and putting them on a resume, the old way of thinking, the cognitive dissonance that's going to take place will be noticeable. You will fight against it consistently. Your brain will go, nope, 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 it doesn't work, 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 it doesn't work. Just do the thing that you've always done, do the thing you've always done, it's safe, it's easy, and it's the thing that we know. And I'm over here like, hey, look at all this. You can just copy and paste this. You put all this stuff in here. You put it in the proper tense. You put a list of your soft skills. You say, hey, I'm flexible and independent and self-motivated. You can list your stuff and, knowledge of and proficient in and expert in. And you're internally, you're fighting against it. And Trouble Gamer says, I get the concept now. Tailor resume based on what the hiring manager is looking for. That is correct. You're creating a resume based on what the hiring manager is looking for. Because that's what's the next part. So you can spend about 2 hours to build this for yourself. It's your own internal document of all the things that you know how to do. It's all the stuff that you're good at. It's all the things you're proficient in and expert in. It's you confronting your own imposter syndrome and making sure that you're not being so down on yourself. And then let me show you the next part. And I'm going to show you the next part by doing a job hunt for myself, which is going to feel weird because you're like, but this live stream's for me. But it's like, yeah, but it's going to be easier if I show you for me. So let's do that. Shanna B says, what you are saying is why I come back and watch it to remind me and reinforce it. Thank you, Shanna B. That is true. You keep coming back because it keeps reinforcing, and then every time you want to fight against it, you're like, just show up again. Just show up again. He says it again, and 50 people have found a job. And then I had this feeling like, yeah, but what if the other 1,000 people didn't find a job? Like, what if the other people who tried this, it didn't work? And what if I spent 2 hours building a tailored resume and it didn't help? Or I spent 2 hours doing this and it wasn't useful? Or I spent 2 hours doing this and you're doing that right now? I have a feeling like internally that's some of the stuff going through in your brain. All right, so let me show you what my catch-all document looks like after 2 hours of me going through and building my own. All right, so we have a catch-all document over here. This is me. I went through and I did a job hunt for myself, and I found all these topics, all these bullet points, all these things. And if you notice, some of them have periods at the end, some of them don't, because at the time when I was doing this, I was doing it a lot faster than what I'm recommending for you to do. I was just like grabbing. And so I didn't go through and do this the way that I have recommended for you to do. And so I would probably take about an hour and go through and clean this up. Ability to work autonomously as part of a geographically dispersed team. Look at this one. This is a bullet point that I found based on a job description that I was looking for me. And I was like, that's a given, right? This is a given in year 2020 that you have the ability to work autonomously as part of a geographically dispersed team. But what if you just put it and take the period off? Ability to work autonomously as part of a geographically dispersed team. All right, so back over to my catch-all. As you go down here, I have video editor. That was at the end of my 2 hours. I didn't get to that. But for content marketing here, it's like manage client, customers, brand, internal partner, external partners. So my official job title in the world of marketing is a content strategist. I'm a content strategist. And so that is what I do. And so these are all the bullet points that I found when I did a search for content marketing, and then down here, content strategist. So I did a job for both job titles, content marketing and content strategist. So things like manage multiply owned media ecosystems to drive both traffic, views, and subscribers, manage and all these things. Like, yes. Okay. This one right here is when I came across it, it said I had the bullet point was I had 5 years of people management experience. Well, I have 14 years of people management experience, so I put 14 plus, and my wife said, what's the plus for? And I was like, actually, yeah, sure. And now I could change it to 15 because I did this last year, so now I could change it to 15. Yeah. All right, so we have an associate's degree. I believe at the time when I found this bullet point, it said they wanted someone with a bachelor's degree in marketing and communications. And when I found it, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't have that. I have an associate's degree in communications and filmmaking and or equivalent practical experience. Like, that is what I have. And so if I was to apply for a job description and they asked for a bachelor's degree in marketing and communications, I'd be like, sorry, I don't have that. But I do have this associate's degree in communications and filmmaking. If they wanted me to have 10 years of experience, of work experience in brand and content strategy, production, consult, and communications, I would say 24 years of work experience in communications. Does everyone see how this starts to work? Like what it looks like when you start to put it all together and how it's like, this is a 9-page document of everything that I could find on what I could do. It's a 9-page document. So I have one here on community management because I've managed communities and all the different things I could find for community management. And then I got another tip for you. So the tip for this one is, have you ever had a job? Have you ever had a job? And if you've had a job, then that must mean that you found a job description, and that must mean that you created a resume, and that must mean that you interviewed, and that must mean that you got the job, and that must mean that you did the job. Because if you had a job, you went through all those steps. So if you had a job, and that job had a job description, have you gone back and found that job description? have you gone and found the job description of the job that you had? So what that looks like is I was a Sands marketing manager. So Sands is a training organization. And I type in Sands marketing manager here. And I get to, let's see. I want to find this one. So Shauna B said I helped write the job description for the job I have. Nice. All right, so when I get through here, I found my old job description of the job that I had. And I'm like, all right, let's just go grab all those bullet points. Let's grab every single one of them. And that's what I did. I went to my old job description. I grabbed the job description. I then dropped it in here, and that is what you're seeing. This is all the things that I did. Now what I did is I went back and I made them true, because there are times we get hired to do a job, and when we actually get the job, it's like, this isn't anything like the job description. And so it may be true, or you may need to finesse it a little bit, but I also added the tense. So I have the supported, the transition of I have created, curated, worked, participated, assisted, ability to collaborate with external partners. That's like a soft skill. And then it got into the actual like nitty gritty of the job. And so I just harvested all that and looked to see if there was anything I could pull from that, like engaged in digital marketing plans and execution, including Google advertising, search marketing, web banners, social media, third party, and podcast. Like that was a thing. So what this looks like is if I was to go to a content strategist position, and right now I'm just doing what I can find. If you go back to part 1, then you would see that I would do a job hunt for a specific job description. Like I would hunt for a specific job at a specific company that I wanted to work for. And if you want to know what my top 10 companies are, so that you can see, I could do my top 10 companies. We have at the top here, and this is in order of priority. This is where I want to work the most, all the way down to where I want to work the least. And so we could do a job hunt for shutterflies, so I could show you what it looks like a shutterfly, but I don't want to do all the hunting part. So let me see if I can find something real quick. So that way, if I can't, then I'll just go back to what I can find, just so I can give you a for instance of how this works. So I'm going to go over here to the old, the new shirts came in. Sweet. So I'm going to type in Shutterfly. I'm going to go to Shutterfly's page here. I'm going to click on jobs, and I'm going to type in the word content. And I'm going to see if they have any content strategy jobs. They have a senior merchant, information security content strategist, so maybe. Creative director for copy, I might be a fit for that. And then I go down here to marketing specialist 2, but that's a life touch, senior data scientist, principal, and I could just type this where I go back, because I do work in marketing, so I could always type in marketing and see if there's a marketing job that I could apply for at. Hopefully you're playing along too, like you're typing in wherever you want to work. So we got this agile transformation, senior manager, category marketing. Let's see what that is. Senior merchant, senior pricing, senior growth marketing manager. This is something that I could do. And then personalized growth analyst, nope. So out of all these jobs, the one that I would want to do is, nope. Yes. And we're going to close. Nope. And nope. Okay. So did everyone see what I just did? I went to my own list. I went to the bottom of my list. And if you don't know why I went to the bottom of my list, then watch the last video. But I'm going to tell you right now. You don't have to go back to the last video. I'll just tell you right now. When you put your list together where you want to work, you start at the bottom of your list. You start at the bottom of your list because when you start at the bottom of your list, there's almost no stress to applying for a job that's at the bottom of your list. Because it's at the bottom of your list. Once you get towards the top, you start getting more stressed out. You start worrying about all the words in your resume a lot more. You start worrying about, should I have a cover letter? Should I reach out? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do all, like all that. But right now it's like, Shutterfly's at the bottom. Let's see if I can get a job there. So I got the senior growth marketing manager. And it says, at Shutterfly, I'm going to just go through the whole process with you now. I'm going to go through the process of building my About Me, putting together a tailored resume for this job specifically. So I'm going to show you what it looks like and what I would do. And I'm going to try to do it in the next 36 minutes. This is the perfect time to ask questions because I'm going to show you how to do it, but I also want to answer whatever questions you have. So that way you're not just sitting here like, is he just making a resume for himself? Yeah, but it's an example. Okay. All right. So at Shutterfly, we're all about people. Okay. Bringing them together, making them feel welcome, and connecting them to experiences. Me too. We make our customers' memories last a lifetime by capturing, preserving, and sharing them through photography and personalized product. Through our family of brands, trend-setting products, cutting-edge technology, and best-in-class customer service, we help customers and each other share life's joys. You know what? I like this one right there. And that is a true statement about me. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to create a new empty document. I'm going to create an About Me section. And I'm going to start with, I already have an About Me section, so I'm going to show you what mine looks like. I'm going to go back over to my, and I'm going to use this About Me section, but I'm also going to tailor it for this specific job. So I'm going to my own profile. I've already written an About Me. I'm going here to the About section. And I'm going to copy all this here and then bring it over to this document and then paste it in. So this is my About Me section. I produce engaging content that earns people's attention and use that to build genuine, thriving tribes. That's my opening statement. Send me a message. Let's grab some bourbon or decaf coffee and swap stories. I'm going to remove that part, and then I'm going to take a look at this part here in a section. So, the joy I find in work comes from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge and experience with each other and connect them with like-minded individuals. That's a true statement. So I'm sitting here right now and I'm just giving you an example. If you're just tuning in, I'm showing what it looks like to take a job description that we have right now, and this is for Shutterfly. This is not that one. This one. This is the job description at Shutterfly and how I would personally make a job resume for this actual description. So I produce engaging content that earns people's attention. Yep. The joy I find in work comes from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge and experience with each other, and to connect and to help them. Yeah, let's see what that says. The joy I find in work comes from bringing people together and to help them share knowledge and experience with each other and to help them connect with like-minded individuals. It needs some finesse. It does. So I would finesse that a little bit more. The joy I find in work from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge, experiences, and there we go. The joy I find in work comes from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge, experiences, and connect with like-minded individuals. So what did I just do? I looked at Shutterfly's way of talking about themselves. So Shutterfly says, at Shutterfly, we're all about people, bringing them together, making them feel welcome, and connecting them to experiences. I'm like, cool. Because Jason Blanchard is all about bringing people together to help them share their knowledge, experiences, and connect with like-minded. Do you see how I look at the job description and then realize how to talk about myself best? It's all true. Like if I was applying for a different job, Like if you were applying for a junior developer job, or if you were applying for a cloud engineer job, if you were applying for a Unix job, if you were applying for a sysadmin job, if you were applying for whatever job, they're going to talk about the kind of person they're looking for and the kind of company that they are. And by looking at that, you would then adjust your About Me section to align with what they're looking for. Sarda says, when we are making tailored resumes, and are we expected to tailor the LinkedIn profile as well? So Sarda, I'm gonna try to finish with the LinkedIn profile today. Is that I find by doing this over a period of time that you'll see a lot of overlap. You'll see a lot of people using the same words. You'll see a lot of people using the same kind of descriptions. And so over time, when you work on this About Me section, you'll find something that works for you, that's true for you, but it also works for whatever job you're applying for. Isn't this a form of mirroring technique used often in negotiations? So Broken Mulberry, yes. So this is a form of mirroring. I enjoy mirroring. I do mirroring often. I do it on purpose, but I also do it self-consciously. If you don't know what mirroring is, there's a way to do it physically too. So right now, if you and I were in a conversation and I saw you lean back in your chair, I would also lean back in my chair. If I saw you lean forward to get really engaged, I would also lean forward and get really engaged. Whenever somebody would ask me a question in an interview and they say, well, what do you think your biggest strengths are? I would then take their question and then encapsulate it into my response. So they say, well, what do you think your biggest strengths are? And I'd say, and if they're leaning forward, I would lean forward. If they're leaning back, I would also lean back and give it some thought. And I would say, well, I think my biggest strengths are. So I take the question and then I encapsulate it into the answer. So it also helps me when I'm answering questions or I'm in an interview to remember what I'm talking about. And so mirroring, yes, this is just like mirroring. All right, so I produce engaging. All right, so let's go back to the job description. It says Shutterfly is seeking a dynamic growth-minded individual to help lead our marketing growth strategy team. Okay. This role will be highly visible across the company and operates at the intersection of performance marketing, channels, teams, insights, analytics, sales, marketing, personalization, and finance. Awesome. So, once again, I'm building a resume for myself, and I know myself just like you know yourself and your background and your history. So I have this opening statement. This opening statement says I produce engaging content that earns people's attention to build genuine, thriving tribes. It has nothing to do with growth marketing, though. It doesn't. So there's a really good chance that I'm going to have to change this opening sentence. So I would come back over here and say, all right, so this is a growth marketing job. They're looking for a growth marketing person. What is the thing that if someone paid me money, what do I do when someone gives me money? So when someone pays me money, what do I do with it? And this is the thought process I go through. So I'm asking you the same question. When someone pays you money, what do you do with it? And so it goes back to the whole job description. They're looking for seeking a dynamic person, and it's a highly visible role that operates at the intersection of insights and all this stuff. It says you'll have the opportunity to both set the growth strategy and lead the go-to market execution in the effort to scale new growth initiatives and capabilities that are audience-specific, primarily partnering closely with channel. This is a really long run-on sentence. Strategy. All right, let me see what their final sentence is. The most successful candidate will bring their experience and passion that blends across strategic development, analytics, process management, and reporting. There we go. Shugaslamma. Thanks for following. All right, so I just found the money sentence right here. This is the money sentence. I didn't read it all right away when I got started. I was just looking for keywords. I pulled this thing out of here. That was a really good sentence. But here's my money sentence right here. The most successful candidate will bring their experience and passion that blends across strategic development, analytics, process management, and reporting. All right, so let's go back over here. Let's drop this in, and let's take a look at this. with 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning and implementation of content and community. Like some of you right now are like, you know what I would say is this. That's what I want. I want all of you right now to be like thinking about what you would say in this situation. Like with 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning and implementation of content creation. There we go. Content creation. Building community. Oh yeah, building community. And growth marketing for small to medium sized companies with well-known industry reputations. Where am I going with the sentence? Ugh. I've lost a bunch of you. There's like a bunch of people that dropped off the stream because like, oh, this is boring. With 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning and implementation of content creation, building community, and growth marketing for small and medium-sized business. Yeah. How about this? I have 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning. There we go. That's better. Hey, Doc Eggman. Thanks for following. All right. I have 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning, implementation of content creation, building communities, and growth marketing for small to medium-sized business for companies with well-known reputations. There we go. I'm done. I'm done with that now. So I'm going to drop that out and then move into this part. Thanks. All right. So the joy I find at work comes from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge and experience and connect with like-minded individuals. So let's go back over to the job description. It says you'll have the opportunity to set the growth strategy, and let's look at that one. So go back over here. Let's see what this sentence looks like. I've set the growth strategies for multiple business organizations throughout my career and adapt to audience specific needs and work closely and align with now I'm just starting to make up stuff because I know you're staring at me. So I'm going to move into the next part. So what I would do is spend about an hour or so writing this about me section. Once I write this about me section, so I'm going to gloss over this a little bit, then I'm going to go back over here to this over here, and it's going to say responsibilities. So you got responsibilities, qualifications, and then we're going to copy this, go back over here. I'm going to drop this in. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Yeah, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to use these quotes. Let's do this. I'm going to use these 3 quotes here. So I would add an extra couple sentences here, and then I would add these quotes. And if you are new to this live stream, then you're probably wondering where these quotes come from. So here's a quote that says, he's creative and selfless in what he does by investing in others and by giving back his time for the greater good of the emerging community. He works well with large teams and can immediately make himself a valuable and respectable member. He is easily approachable and gives an honest answer when you need. Now, I might use different ones, but let me show you where these quotes come from. And this is a thing I actually want you to do. This is a homework assignment for you all. All right. So if you go to your own your own LinkedIn profile. There's a thing where you can request recommendations. So if you go all the way down to the bottom and play along, there's an area where you can request recommendations. So if you ask for a recommendation, you can go in here and type a person's name, and it will bring up a person, and then you can say, this person managed me, and then they managed me at Black Hills, and that's not true, but that's a thing that you could say. And then when you get to this part, it will send a message through LinkedIn asking this person, can you write me a recommendation? And then if they do, then that recommendation gets added to your recommendation section. So if you were to do this, if you were to say, hi, Jacqueline, could you write me a recommendation? Please, if you ask anyone to write you a recommendation, here's my number one tip for you. Give them a thing to write a recommendation about. So could you write me a recommendation about the time we worked together on at. So this is a specific request for a recommendation where you say, could you write me a recommendation about the time we worked together on at? So that way, when the person who you're asking to write you a recommendation for, they're not starting with a blank sheet of paper too, because nobody likes to write a blank. No one likes to start with a blank sheet of paper because then that's just too open-ended. And at that point, you're like, and then they don't do it. But if you give them a thing to write a recommendation for, it's going to increase your chances of getting a recommendation from somebody. Now, if it says, could you write me a recommendation about my work ethic when we worked at? So you could say, could you write a recommendation about my work ethic? Now, you could get real specific to the job. Now, if I go over here and it says, you are a growth-minded individual, or it says you set the growth strategy. You're a balance of an analytical mindset and ability to be an innovative thought leader. So I'm doing this on purpose. So it's saying, I'm looking at what the descriptions are, and I go back over here to the ask for a recommendation, and I would say, could you write me a recommendation about my analytical mindset when it comes to marketing? That's a real specific recommendation. And it's okay that you're fighting and resisting against this, because there's going to be a part of you that's like, I don't know if I can ask someone to write about my analytical mindset when it comes to marketing. But they could write about your development skills as a junior software developer. They could write about your meticulous attention to detail when it comes to coding. It could write about, let's go over here to another one that we can look at. So I'm going to go over here to junior software developer. And it says things like analyze and create solutions to problems on your own in collaboration with project stakeholders and your other members. And so your recommendation that you can ask for, say, can you write a recommendation on my, so you go back over here and say about my ability to analyze and create solutions on my own and with the team. So what you're doing right now is the person that you're asking for the recommendation from, they're just like, oh yeah, I remember you were great at analyzing, and they will write you 5 sentences on why you were great at analyzing and creating solutions and how you worked well with a team. And then when it comes to your About Me section, if I go over here to my own About Me and I close this out, if you were to look at my profile, you would find 29 recommendations that people have written over the years. And it is over the years. It's been a long time. I mean, some of these go back to 2012, 2011, 2011. And if you go to these, I might be able to find something in here that could be useful. I could find something in here that says, Jason is a producer with a unique approach that gets results. He is always the person to seek advice when working on a project. If I ever had a project to work on with a budget. So here we go. Jason is a producer with a unique approach that gets results. So if I were to go back over here to my own section, instead of using this one where I'm approachable and give an honest answer, what I'm looking for is a quote that would be better for this job that I'm applying for. So I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna drop this in, gonna paste without formatting, and I would say Michael Sluck, student at Full Sail University. How many recommendations are enough for a LinkedIn profile? After what point does it feel too many recommendations? Sarta, if you could get 100 people to write a recommendation for you, I would get 100 people to write a recommendation for you. If you could get 15, 15. If you get 5, get 5. It's what you're looking for is, can I find that thing that's inside that recommendation that I can use to reinforce when it comes time to apply for a job. When it comes time to apply for a job, is there a thing, because they're going to say, like, what do you know? Like, what's the things that you know for this job? Hopefully that answered your question. All right. So if you noticed earlier, I copied and pasted the job description into here. And I will change this to qualifications. And here, in these bullet points, I would then, it says facilitate collaborative process to ensure marketing strategies are aligned, prioritized, and focused on the greatest opportunities to drive profitable growth, attract new customers, and deliver exceptional customer experiences. Now, what I would do in this situation is go back to my catch-all resume. I go to my catch-all resume, and I would look, is there something that I've done that can help me to prove that I can do this thing that they're looking for? And Broken Mulberry says, on LinkedIn, do you pick and choose who's recommending is displayed? It might not be 100% flattering. I don't think I can pick. Maybe I can pick. I don't think I've ever had one that wasn't flattering. I think it's in chronological order. Broken Mulberry. Okay. So remember the catch-all resume that you made, this internal document of all your skills and abilities that you've broken down into individual things that you could then use to copy and paste into here. Lead customer identification acquisition strategies that are rooted in data. So I would then go to my catch-all resume, find something that meets that, or I would rewrite something that goes along with this, or I would find some example of something I've done in my past to go here. And then when I'm done, my resume will look something like this. It would be Jason Blanchard, phone, email, LinkedIn. I'd have this here. I'd move this. I'd make this bold, a little bit bigger. I put my things here. I would start off with this about me section, some quotes about who I am and why people should hire me, and things that go along with what they're looking for. I might just stick with this. I have 24 years of experience and passion in strategic planning, implementation of content, growth marketing for small. The joy I find in work comes from bringing people together to help them share their knowledge like-minded. And then I got some quotes here from other people. Why do I like quotes? Because it's not me saying I. It's not me talking about myself. Here we got an I statement, and that's fine. We got another I statement here, that's fine. But at some point, it's a lot nicer to have somebody out there talking about your skills, your abilities, your work ethic, your character traits, all those things, instead of you talking about it yourself. And so he is a creative and selfless person. He works well with large teams. He is a producer with a unique approach that gets results. Cool. At any point, is any of this confusing or anything that you don't understand, or at any point you're like, this seems like a lot of work? It's okay to feel all those things. This feels like a lot of work. The first one is, and then after that, you start pulling from the ones you've already made. You start pulling those. You might have an A resume, a B resume, a C resume, a D resume that you can start using instead of reinventing the wheel every single time. But you have something to build off when it comes time to build a tailored resume for that job description. I get down here to qualifications. All right, qualifications is you could do this a little easier, where it says 10 plus years of progressive experience in marketing, advertising, or growth, ideally with specific experience in customer acquisition. So for me, I would say 24 years of progressive experience in marketing. I could do this. I don't do advertising. So that would not be a true thing about me. So I would do this. And I would say 24 years of experience with growth. Let's try it. Growth, marketing, content, community, marketing, customer acquisition. Bachelor's degree in marketing, business, communications, or related field. No. Remember? We found that one. And I would take this. And I would go here. And I would put this in its place. And now my bullet points are off. And that's fine. It doesn't bug me at all. There we go. All right, so a thought leader with demonstrated success initiating and driving growth strategy through development. And all right, so a thought leader with demonstrated. And all right, so here we go. Let me show you another thing that you can do here. So I'm going to take this. So I would say a thought leader in growth marketing. I could also say that. I'm going to look here at your questions. As always, great content. I hope it's being recorded. It is, Sarta. Suga Slama says, I missed where you said where those quotes come from. Are those your LinkedIn recommendations directly? Yes. So Suga, they are. So what I do here is once someone's written the recommendation, I look for the sentence in there that is the most useful to me for this specific job description. Corporate gaming, I am not big on the idea of thought leader. In fact, seeing the word thought leader in the job description makes me not want to apply. But in the marketing world, they use the term thought leader and it's like, it's fine. So that's why I don't work well in the marketing world. That's why I do really well in cybersecurity, because we all in cybersecurity don't like more thought leaders. But so to answer Suga's, when I go through here, what I'm doing is I'm looking for a specific sentence that goes along with what the company is looking for. So this one right here, this one talks about a true leader. And if I go back to this job description, they're looking for a manager. They're looking for a manager for this job. And so instead of being, he works well with large teams and can mainly make himself a valuable member, instead of being a member, I would then switch this one to without the formatting. Jason is creative, motivating, and shares his vast knowledge as he is a true leader and as with an always willing to help positive attitude. Now that's not who said it, so I would go with the person who said it, which would be, this is Danielle Hernandez, Sands Institute co-worker. New. Does that make sense, Suga? Okay. All right, so I am using these quotes to let them know, these people at this company, that I am the person who they're looking for. Now, when I get down here to this section where it's the qualifications, this right here where it says I'm a thought leader in growth marketing, let me show you a cool thing that you can do if this is true about you. I'm a firm believer in giving talks and recording talks and speaking at conferences and wherever it is that you can speak. And so if I go to, it's an unlisted link. So how do I get to an unlisted link? So I would have to do this off camera. But here's what I could do. This isn't the actual one, but I could just go here to a talk that I've given. and go back over to my job post and say a talk on growth marketing. Let's say it was a talk on growth marketing. Then I could just link to it right there and say, yeah, I'm a thought leader in growth marketing. So yes. And if I had other links, I could post a talk on this. Or if I had a blog post, I could write a blog post here and say a blog post with a link. Solid understanding of e-commerce, MarTech capabilities, performance marketing. Okay, truth is, everybody, I have a knowledge of... This is where that comes in. If you were wondering where that comes in, if you've been watching this live stream from the beginning, if you saw the 3 levels of knowledge, if you saw the proficient and familiar with, if you saw the proficient or, yeah, I already mentioned that, or expert, I just got to one where I know almost nothing about this except what I've read about it and things like that. So when it gets to this, do you see what I just switched it from? Solid understanding of e-commerce and MarTech. And I was like, no. Knowledge of e-commerce. Performance marketing, marketing channels. Now, when it gets to marketing channels, I could switch this one to expert in marketing channels. Because there, I am an expert in SEO, social, Discord, YouTube, esports. Does that make sense? I'm not good at these things. I'm not. And so if I get to this part, I would be like, no. But I'm an expert in these things. So that's where I switch over to that. All right, everybody, I am getting ready to wrap up today. I didn't get to all the things that I wanted to get to. And for those of you that stuck around since the very beginning, thank you for being here. And thank you for spending your afternoon with me. And hopefully that you used these 2 hours as a way of just, maybe the only thing you got out of today was how you could do a job hunt for your own job and just go through all 39,000 results of that job and start learning how you can take those things and use it to talk about yourself. Maybe the one thing that you got today was the how to just grab bullet points and use them for yourself and how to put them in the right tense and how to make them true, and then also how to put things like my 3 levels of knowledge and start compartmentalizing those things. Maybe that's what you learned today. Or maybe you learned that Jason is a content strategist because you watched me do my resume for a while and you saw me struggle through it. You saw me try to figure out the words. You saw me try to apply the things that I was just saying to you, and you saw that it's not easy. Is this the format you'd use for your resume? Absolutely, Suga. This is the format I would use for my resume, 100%. I would do exactly the thing that I'm telling you to do. I would go through here. I would put this information in here. I would then have some type of bullet point to go along with the bullet points that you're looking for. I would either reword this to be a true about me, or I would find some evidence that I've been able to do. If I've done something that has a quantitative data to it, so establish KPI measurements to track success as LTV. I'd have to figure out what that means. Offsite reach and TAM. I'll also have to figure out what TAM means. But if I had quantified metrics to put in here, I would drop 37,000, 374, 22. If there was a number that corresponded to the things that they're looking for, then I would put a quantified number into that field. And then when I got down here to qualifications, or I might even say a little more about me, because I'm just going to be real honest with them and say this is just me. So a little more about me instead of calling it qualifications. So here, and then I would go through here and put something that goes along with all these things too. And then when I'd get down to the bottom, I would put my work history. I would say I worked here and I worked here and I worked here and I worked here, and I would put my job titles. And then at the end, I would say maybe my education, but I've already covered my education at some point, the bullet points up there. I might drop a link to a website of mine. I might drop some links to other work that I've done. But this is the same format I would follow. One more question. Can we ask former colleagues to modify recommendations based on your idea? Absolutely, P866. You could ask them for a new recommendation based on a specific topic that you would like them to recommend you for. These things aren't set in stone, so feel free to ask people that you've worked with in the past. Say, hey, I'm currently looking for a job right now, and it would really help me if you could talk about this aspect of when we work together. And so they would write something about that, and you can pull that information. And so maybe that's what you learned today, was that you could create recommendation requests, and you can use those to harvest for your About Me section. So thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the recording, part 3 is coming up next week, where we're going to apply at the company's website, and we're going to get into like I keep saying, a deep dive and all the things you can learn at the company's website, and you can start applying to your own job hunt, and how to use that for maybe job fairs or to find human beings or other things like that to apply at the company's website. And then part 4 is to find an internal advocate at that organization to then say, I applied at your company. Here was the tailored resume that I used. And they come back and are like, oh, this is great. Let's talk about it. And then number 5 is how to manage and organize and project manage all these things. So if you are tuning in for the first time, go check out the first video if you are going to keep coming back. I'll see you all next week. And my final thoughts for today are this. You're right. It's not easy. And you're right. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance that comes from looking at the way that I'm recommending doing. And you're right. This does look like it takes a lot of time. I agree with you. And I would be frustrated if I tried these things and they didn't work right away. I would be frustrated if I built this tailored resume and I sent it to people and they didn't respond. I would be frustrated if I've been applying for jobs for weeks or months or a year and I haven't been able to find something. I would be frustrated if I learned about this stuff today and I wish I would have known it 6 months ago. And so if you're a frustrated job hunter right now, I get it. Come back. Come back next week. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep showing up. Let's keep working on this. And let's work through those frustrations. And let's just keep hitting it. And let's keep doing it. And let's keep persevering. And I'll be here with you because I'm doing this until March of 2022. And so I would love to keep working with you as we get through this so that way we can ring the bell for you. And that when we ring the bell for you, you can talk about what did it for you. Was it the tailored resume? Was it the internal advocate? Was it shaking hands at a conference? Was it just introducing yourself to someone on an airplane where we can all do that stuff again? Like, what was the thing for you? Because it's going to be something for you. And it may not be what you used to do, or it may not be what I even recommended, but you're going to get there. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.